Mother accidentally caught her eldest son naked and discovered a huge secret about his body. Her panic immediately caught her best friend's attention.
¿Y esa cara?
Tiene un miembro descomunal.
She thought it was perfectly normal. After all, her eldest son was going through puberty.
Parece una malformación.
Because the Ursulas had a history of consanguineous marriages, they were terrified that their children's physical health might be affected. Her best friend reassured her not to worry and offered to read her eldest son's future through the cards. Soon after, her eldest son, Arca, was brought into the room. Pila told him to relax and asked him to pick any 3 cards from the deck. But when she saw the cards he'd drawn, Pila's expression suddenly turned grave.
Que vas a ser indomable como un vendaval.
The eldest son said, feeling quite pleased with himself. But just then, Pyrrha suddenly reached under the table and fell forward. The eldest son instantly felt as if he'd been electrocuted, going limp and weak. It wasn't until Ursula pushed open the door that the awkward silence was broken. She asked her best friend about the results of the divination. Pyrrha told her that her son would never have to worry about women or offspring in the future. Little did she know that the eldest son's fate was about to be completely rewritten. That night, lying in bed, the eldest son felt a burning heat throughout his body and tossed and turned, unable to sleep. So he sneaked out of his room and headed straight for Pyrrha's room. And on that pitch-black night, the eldest son, Arca, became a true man. Ursula, however, knew nothing of her son's affairs. The next day, she asked her best friend to help look after her 2 sons. Just as they exchanged a glance, their hands clasped once more. But their intimate gesture was discovered by the younger son, who also noticed that his older brother was often absent from his room at night, returning only just before dawn. So, under his younger brother's relentless questioning, Alca finally revealed his secret, and this became a secret shared only between the 2 brothers. Meanwhile, their father, Jose, was busy with his daily research. Unexpectedly, that night, their 3rd child was about to be born. With no one around to assist, she had to deliver the baby on her own. Ursula gave birth to a baby girl. She instinctively looked at her daughter's bottom. Fortunately, her daughter was perfectly normal. She didn't have a pig's tail. But early the next morning, just as everyone was celebrating, Jose came running over, shouting. It turned out his alchemy had succeeded. He'd even extracted a piece of gold from the alloy. But his eldest son said it looked like a pile of dog shit. Jose slapped him across the face. Little did he know that this single slap would cost him a son. At first, no one paid it much mind. Filled with resentment, the eldest son stormed out of the house and went straight to Pila for comfort. He didn't want to spend his days cooped up in the lab like his father. He longed for a life of his own. That night, Alca tossed and turned, too afraid to face what was coming. So he went to the bustling fair to take his mind off things. A slender gypsy girl suddenly caught his eye, and with just a single glance, the 2 became intimate. It wasn't until the next morning that Ursula realized her eldest son was missing. She hurriedly grabbed her younger son and went out to search. From a man, they learned that the eldest son had been with the gypsy girl the night before, but by the time they arrived, the gypsy caravan had already left. It seemed the eldest son had gone off with the caravan. Ursula sent her younger son back to notify his father, while she herself ran into the woods to search. Soon, Jose arrived with a group of men, but after searching for 3 full days and nights, they still couldn't find her eldest son. No one knew where they had gone, but their peaceful life didn't last long. Unexpectedly, that very night, Pila suddenly showed up at their door, holding her son. Ursula found it hard to accept at first, but after all, the child was innocent. They eventually agreed to let the child stay, on the condition that Pila was never to set foot in the house again, and that the child would never be told who his birth mother was. Pila had no choice but to agree. Jose named his grandson Arcadio after his eldest son. He was the 3rd generation of the Buendia family. As time flew by, Aureliano shed his once childish features and began helping to look after his sister and nephew in his spare time. He suddenly sensed that something bad was about to happen. His ability to foresee the future seemed to have returned.